This is a remote learning initiative by Shet Vidya Mandir English High School SSC Board located in Vasai, Mumbai in the state of Maharashtra, India. Standard 7 Science, Chapter 19, Properties of a Magnetic Field. It's a fascinating story of how magnets were discovered. In 600 BC in ancient Greece, a shepherd took his sheep for grazing one day. He sat beside a rock and waited for a while his sheep were grazing. When it was time to go home, he noticed something odd. His stick was stuck to a rock, and he had to pull very hard to separate the stick from the rock. Later on, it was discovered that since the bottom of his stick had an iron material attached to it and the rock was magnetic, the iron was attracted to the magnet, that is the rock. It is believed that the rock was named as magnet because of the name of the shepherd. His name was Magnus and the rock was named as magnetite. Magnetite is also known as lodestone. Some people believe that the name magnet originated from a place called as Magnesia wherein magnetite was found. We know substances having the property of attracting iron are known as magnets. Later on, the process of making magnets from pieces of iron was discovered. These are known as artificial magnets. Nowadays, artificial magnets are prepared in different shapes. For example, bar magnet, horseshoe magnet, cylindrical or a ball-ended magnet. After experimenting for 17 years, Wilhelm Gilbert, also known as the father of magnetism, found out that there are two types of magnets. One, natural magnets that are naturally present in nature, and the second one is artificial magnets in which a magnet is rubbed on an iron material and the iron material is magnetized, thus creating an artificial magnet. Natural magnets. A material which occurs naturally and possesses magnetic properties is called as a natural magnet. Originally it was known as lodestone, Lodestone. Presently it's more commonly known as magnetite. Artificial magnet is a material which is made into a magnet by artificial means. It is made by magnetizing different shapes of magnetic materials. It's essential to remember that materials can be of two types, magnetic and non-magnetic. Materials that can be attracted by a magnet, for example iron, nickel or cobalt, are called as magnetic materials. So, we know that materials that are not attracted towards a magnet are called as non-magnetic materials. For example, paper, glass, plastic, rubber, wood, etc. Time for some DIY. Think about whatever you have learned till now. Look at the pictures and classify the objects into magnetic or non-magnetic. You can do this practically by collecting various day-to-day objects that are around you. Take a magnet and bring the magnet closer to these objects to check whether they are magnetic or non-magnetic. Then note down what you have observed. Magnets can be made from magnetizing alloys of iron, cobalt and nickel. There are two examples that we'll focus on in this chapter. The first one is Nippermag and the second one is Alnico. Nippermag is a magnetic alloy of iron, nickel, aluminium and titanium that is used to make magnets. The second one is Alnico. Al, Ni and Co is a magnetic alloy of iron containing aluminium, Ni nickel and Co cobalt. Alnico and Nippermag are very hard and are often used in the production of industrial scale magnets. Some uses of these magnets may be in loudspeakers, microphones, ammeters and voltmeters, etc. There are 6 properties of magnets that you'll remember. The first one, magnets attract objects made of iron, nickel and cobalt. Objects made of iron, nickel and cobalt that get attracted by magnets are called as magnetic materials. The second property, magnets have two poles, the north pole and the south pole. The third one is an extension of the second one. The two poles always exist in pairs and they cannot be separated. Even if you break a magnet or cut it in half, each of the magnet piece will have two poles, the north and the south pole for each of the pieces. The fourth one, opposite poles of two magnets attract each other. The fifth one is the reverse. Like poles of two magnets repel each other. The sixth one and the final one, if a magnet is freely suspended by a thread, it always aligns itself in the north-south direction. There are two methods of making artificial magnets. This question can also come as a distinguish between. The first method is a single touch method and the second one is a double touch method. In the first method, the following steps are followed. Place a rectangular piece of iron on the table. Now take a bar magnet and place one of its poles near one edge of the bar iron. Remember to move it along the length of the iron bar till you reach the end without lifting the bar magnet. Now lift the magnet when you reach the end and bring the pole, the same pole that you started with, to the same point of the iron bar from which you began. Move the magnet again along the iron bar in the same direction as you did before and repeat this process about 30 to 40 times. Now bring a safety pin, iron or some iron fillings or any other iron materials that are readily available and near the iron bar that you have just tried to magnetize and check if it has become a magnet. If it's not yet attracting the iron filings or the safety pin or the U-pins made of iron, then continue the process for some more time. Remember that the pole of the magnet and the direction of its movement should not change. You can also use an iron nail, a needle or a blade and convert them into a magnet in the absence of an iron bar. Perform all DIY, that is do-it-yourself activities in the presence of an adult. In the double touch method, two magnets are used. On an iron bar, place two magnets in the center such that the unlike poles face each other and touch at the center. Now move them towards each end without lifting the two magnets. Once you reach the end, come back to the center from where you began and repeat the process for about 30 to 40 times. Now, test whether the iron bar has become a magnet using a safety pin, iron fillings or any other iron materials that are readily available. If it doesn't happen, repeat the process again. The double touch method is said to last longer than the single touch method, and the magnetic strength of the magnet creating using this method should be higher than that of the single touch method magnet, as two magnets are used here to induce magnetism. William Gilbert is known as the father of magnetism. He experimented for 17 years on the subject of magnetism and electricity. He is credited for introducing the experimental way in the scientific world to prove theories and hypotheses. The most ancient form of compass that has existed presently is said to have been originated in China. Several explorers have used a compass. There were several beliefs that garlic interferes with the direction of the compass, which was proved to be wrong. Columbus believed that the North Star and celestial bodies used to attract the compass needle towards itself, hence the compass used to point north. However, William Gilbert worked with several people in various fields and discovered that the compass points north due to the earth being a gigantic magnet that attracts the compass needle towards itself. Now, how did the earth become a giant magnet? Basically, the earth consists of a solid iron core. Surrounding this hot iron core is an ocean of hot liquid metal. When this liquid metal flows in the earth's core, it creates electrical currents which in turn creates a magnetic field. Through this, we also come to know that electricity and magnetism are interrelated. You learn this in a higher chapter. Standard. The gigantic magnet inside the earth is said to be in the south-north direction. Hence, the compass north gets attracted towards the Antarctica that is located in the north. Scientist William Gilbert also gave a scientific explanation based on an experiment of the observation that a freely suspended magnet always settles in the north-south direction. By experimenting, he also proved that the earth is a gigantic magnet and that the magnet within the earth, the south pole of that magnet, must be near the geographic north pole of the earth. That is why that magnet attracts the compass's north direction towards the north. It is believed that since the earth keeps rotating on an axis in an elliptical orbit, after about 800,000 years, the north and the south will change directions and soon the north will face the Arctic instead of the Antarctic as we know it. The magnetic needle in the compass always points in the north-south direction. Let's see what a compass basically is. It's an instrument which is used to find directions. You just use the compass and see which direction it points in. It will point in a certain direction. If that direction is not north, all you have to do is turn the compass till the red needle points towards the north direction, and that is how you will know which direction you have to go to and which direction is north. A compass has a thin magnetic needle that is supported from a pivot so that it can rotate freely. The needle is placed over a dial with the directions marked on it. The entire assembly is placed in an airtight box. The north pole of the magnetic needle is painted red so that you can clearly identify the north from the south. Let's do a DIY activity by making a compass on our own. Do all DIY activities in the presence of an adult. Magnetize an iron needle using a bar magnet. Now, insert the magnetic needle through a small piece of cork or foam. Let the cork float in water in a bowl or in a tub. Make sure that the needle does not touch the water or else it will be demagnetized. Then, make a note of the direction in which the needle points when the cork is floating. And this is how you can use a needle instead of a compass. If you do not have a compass, you can use the ancient way of finding the directions, that is by observing the sun. At noon, stand underneath the sun and then just observe after 4 to 5 hours where the sun is moving. If it's moving towards your left hand side, then that is the west direction and the opposite is east. Face the east and stand. Your left hand will be pointing towards the north and your right hand will be pointing towards the south. The way in which the magnet attracts the iron particles was noted by several scientists. A particular British researcher named Michael Faraday named the lines that go from one end of the bar magnet to the other as magnetic lines of force. The region around a magnet where the magnetic force acts on an object is called as the magnetic field. It is quite prominent towards the poles, that is towards the end of the magnet. The magnetic field can be shown or is represented by magnetic lines of force that go around the magnet. The intensity of the magnetic field at a place can be gauged or measured by the number of lines of force that pass through a unit area at that place perpendicular to that area. Let's learn more about the properties of the magnetic lines of force. Magnetic lines of force, firstly, are imaginary connecting lines. Magnetic lines of force always run from the north pole to the south pole. Magnetic lines of force are in a state of tension like a stretched spring. Magnetic lines of force repel each other and they do not intersect each other, which means they are parallel or separate from each other such that they never intersect each other. The number of magnetic lines of force at a particular point determines the strength of the magnetic field. If there are more magnetic lines of force, then the magnetic field is stronger and the attraction is much more. But if the magnetic lines of force are less, then the magnetic field is weaker and the attraction will be less and not very strong. Time for some DIY to test the effect of a magnet. Even though you will do it yourself, please do it in the supervision of an adult. It's pretty simple to do this experiment. Take a plastic or a paper cup and fix it on a stand with the help of a clamp as shown in the figure. Then, place a magnet inside the cup and cover it with a circular cutout paper so that the magnet is not visible. Attach a thread to a paper clip made of iron. You can use a safety pin or a push pin as an alternative. Now, fix the other end of the thread at the base of the stand using a sellotape. Remember that the length of the thread should be short, but it should reach close to the base of the cup. Now, bring the paper clip near the base of the cup and observe what happens. The clip is raised in the air without any support, just like a kite. Why does this happen? As we know the story of Magnus and his stick and the rock, the similar principle is applied here. The magnet in the cup will attract the paper clip towards it and pull it with a magnetic force. Hence, the paper clip looks as if it's raised in the air without any support. This is all possible because of the property of magnets that attract iron particles. What's an electromagnet? A simple electromagnet is prepared by passing an electric current through a copper wire wound around a piece of soft iron. Remember, we are using an electric current here instead of a magnet. So, electromagnet is a magnet that is made by electricity. The copper wire is the conductor which will conduct the electricity so that it touches the iron nail, and the supply of electricity is through the battery. The magnetism is produced in a piece of iron till the current flows through the copper. A magnet that is produced in this manner is called as an electromagnet. Metal detectors are used in very important places like airports, bus stations, malls, certain temples and buildings. They are used for inspections of persons who enter the places. Metal detectors are used to detect very precious articles and also in the food processing industry to detect any iron or steel objects that may have been mixed unknowingly in the foodstuff, as these iron or steel objects would be harmful to health. In geology, the metal detectors are used to detect the presence and quantity of metals and also to find metals that may be buried under the earth. When you work with magnets, there are a few cautions that you have to keep in mind. Magnets lose their properties if they are heated, hammered or dropped from some height. They also become weak if they are not stored properly. That is, they are not able to attract with as much force as they could before. To keep them safe, bar magnets should be kept in pairs with their opposite poles on the same side. They must be separated by a piece of wood, while two pieces of soft iron should be placed across their ends. For horseshoe magnets, you should keep a piece of iron across the poles. Also, keep in mind that you should keep magnets away from cassettes, mobiles, telephones, music systems, compact discs, that is CDs, and computers, as magnets will disturb the process which was running in the gadgets, and to avoid this, we should keep the magnets away from these electronic gadgets. Pause the video and answer the following questions. Pause the video and answer the following questions.